Current attempts at securing customer loyalty by healthcare companies are not very successful. Financial incentives may buy temporary customer rental, but customers switch back when the incentive ends. If healthcare consumers can get exactly what they want from their healthcare ecosystem providers, the evidence suggests that they will be happy consumers and most of them will stick around. This is what we call sustainable customer loyalty. With today's tools, it is next to impossible to effectively support consumers in their search for solutions that best fit their specific wellness and healthcare needs. The healthcare consumer is overwhelmed with the amount of reading material he needs to review in order to try and make an informed decision, and is thoroughly frustrated. We will demo here how Applez2Applez will solve consumers' frustration, while at the same time significantly reducing the cost for achieving long-term customer loyalty. First, you may recall from the more detailed description in the video on accelerating customer loyalty that Applez2Applez solution provides consumers with a prioritized, personalized, and explicit fit set of recommendations. Compare this solution with the current overwhelming tsunami of consumer healthcare choices and the labyrinth of paths that a consumer must navigate on their own to reach a decision, but frequently not necessarily the best fit decision. Second, Applez2Applez eliminates the overdependence of healthcare ecosystem companies on expensive financial incentives, which most often result in the temporary rental of consumers. Applez2Applez enables healthcare ecosystem companies to deliver what their healthcare customers really value and need, exact and personalized recommendations, both proactive and on demand, which help consumers to significantly improve their wellness and reduce healthcare costs. This is the Applez2Applez Consumer Decision Support home screen. Clicking on the green Healthcare Navigation button displays the home screen for wellness and healthcare. This site could be an extension of a website of the healthcare ecosystem company or a branded co-marketing site with Applez2Applez. The goal is to direct consumer value to the ecosystem company. Consumers would register on the site and define their individual prioritized preferences about wellness and healthcare services and products at whatever level of detail they wish to provide. The more detail they provide, the more the recommendations will reflect their true priorities and result in a best fit to their exact needs. However, they will always get a recommendation no matter how limited the level of data they provide. This screen becomes their prioritized home screen, customized to reflect and focus on the topics they have selected as being of most interest. The selection can be changed at any time, and their home screen will immediately reflect the revised focus. In this case, the healthcare consumer has indicated he is interested in local pool physical therapy services. The thinking here is that consumers desire two different but related forms of recommendations. First, what we call proactive and preemptive recommendations. This is where the system proactively reaches out and informs the consumer of changes in the wellness and healthcare marketplace that are important to them as individuals. The system preemptively recommends to the consumer healthcare and wellness activities, services, and products in which he could be interested, even before he could have considered that wellness action or decision. Second, directed search recommendations. This is where the healthcare consumer has specified a category of healthcare or wellness activities, services, or products and wants to receive a custom recommendation based on his preferences. The pool physical therapy service falls into the second on-demand category of directed search recommendations. As we can see, Applez2Applez offers the consumer full healthcare event management functionality, which will be demonstrated in the video Managing Healthcare Events. For this example, simply by clicking on the pull-down menu choice None, Take Me to My Health in My Hands takes us instantly to the section of the healthcare consumer screen where this requirement can be met in real time. Let's move down the screen to custom search and recommendations. As you can see, the consumer has a wide variety of ways that Applez2Applez supports and makes it easier for healthcare consumers to identify to the system exactly in what wellness activity or healthcare service or product they are interested. In this case, we will use the intelligent search engine option and just type in pool physical therapy. The system immediately recognizes this category from the Healthcare Products and Services database and displays the full set of local pool therapy service providers. At this point, I could decide to eliminate certain names from the list of potential recommendations, but for this demo, I will just choose all pool physical therapy in order to give the recommendation optimization engine the widest possible set of choices. I wish to ask the system for recommendations right away, based on preferences and priorities I have already established when I initially registered with Applez2Applez. I choose Use Existing Default Choices from this pull-down menu. Notice that to the right of each pull-down menu choice, the system provides a description of that choice. This context-sensitive support is used throughout Applez2Applez to help consumers with an instant description of all choices. Recommendations with Applez2Applez are that easy. The system immediately displays, as we can see here, in prioritized order from 1 to 5, from the left to the right, the top 5 choices of pool physical therapy service providers that are the closest fit to my personal preferences. The number of alternatives that are displayed for any customer recommendation run is controlled by the user as part of the registration choices. In this case, as we can see, the system has recommended as the top choice the TRIA Orthopedic Center located on Northland Drive in Bloomington. For each of these 5 top alternatives, what the system displays is first the rank, and we can see that in descending order of 1 to 5, where 1 is the highest possible rank, the address, and there could be more than a single location for each corporate name or brand if the consumer so desires, the phone number, the ranking score, and we'll get back to this in a minute, with 100% being the maximum possible score, the cost per session, and the Optum connection, whether or not each pool physical therapy service provider is an Optum approved partner, and in this case TRIA is an Optum approved partner. We can see here that the score of 98% out of a maximum score of 100 indicates that this healthcare ecosystem company is a near perfect fit to the consumer's priorities and preferences for a pool physical therapy service provider. Please recall that this recommendation is based on prioritized pool physical therapy characteristics, prioritized and ranked in importance by this individual consumer, and the target profile. Only those experienced end consumers whose profile this consumer deemed appropriate for a pool physical therapy recommendation is included in the calculation. Now notice also that there are 2 other companies, alternatives, that were also highly rated at over 90%. So the consumer may want to revise the optimization criteria to see if TRIA remains the primary recommendation. The system would on demand show all other relevant data, such as identifying other available related services, or pull detailed specifications from the pool physical therapy services provider's website, or enable the consumer to schedule a visit through the Optum reservations network. At this point, the consumer could change any of the prioritized criteria using this pull-down menu, and Applez2Applez would instantly generate revised recommendations based on these criteria. It's the same pull-down menu that we used when we decided to do default. But now we notice there are a huge variety of other possible criteria to be used. Similarly, Applez2Applez offers the healthcare consumer a comprehensive statistical assessment to better understand precisely how the recommendation calculations were carried out and which criteria were most critical in determining displayed prioritized recommendations. And for that, we use this pull-down menu. Again, a wide variety of statistical options. The focused decision analysis will help the healthcare consumer decide if there is any need or desire to change any of the criteria and request Applez2Applez to generate a revised set of real-time recommendations. Each healthcare ecosystem company could have its own branded or co-branded website and could also determine if it wishes to provide consumers with different levels of service with Applez2Applez. For example, adding an e-commerce solution to enable consumers to purchase services and products from the ecosystem company or its partners, introducing consumer fee-based services to provide additional high-level margin, or offering different levels of access for strategic or tactical ecosystem business partners. This concludes the demonstration of how Applez2Applez uniquely provides healthcare consumers with real-time prioritized recommendations based on their individual preferences, and ecosystem healthcare companies with a decisive way to drive down customer loyalty costs and minimize the need to use financial incentives to try and secure healthcare customer loyalty.